Hello, people out there. Okay, so I figure I'm gonna do one of what I know and why I can do this and actually talk about prepping and the little bit of sailing I do know about. Okay? Okay, my little qualifications. When I was little, okay, I was raised by a bunch of different people, and most of them were preppers. Okay? So I grew up in that lifestyle. Now, since I grew up in that lifestyle, I know a little bit about it. And there are a lot of things I still don't know and I'm still learning. Okay? I was taught how to build things, how to create things out of next to nothing. I was taught how to survive out in the woods with next to nothing. And yet I was taught how to defend myself, shoot a gun. That stuff only means very little with hunting, and anything else, it's a last option. Okay? So, with the survival bit, yeah, that might mean a little more as far as being able to build you a nice shelter out of next to nothing temporary. But I can also do it quite well permanently. Okay, I do have some forge skills, um, and I do know how to make a makeshift forge from scratch. As far as how to build things, create things, I went to Morrisville State College for seasonal construction, heating, and plumbing back around 2008. Beforehand, I was a contractor. And when I say contractor, I mean building houses, fixing things, roofing. Okay? I also grew up doing farming. For example, one of the things I wish I paid more attention to, um, but it wasn't manly enough for me when I was younger, was how to can food. Do jars, can jars, or jar canning. Things like that. Carol, I wish I paid more attention when Carol was teaching me that. Okay? There are a lot of things like that I wish I paid more attention to. I'm 39 and I'm starting to reevaluate that. Can't believe it took me so many years to even think of all that stuff and reevaluate. Um, I'm a Scadian. That means I, for most of my life, have been a member of the SCA. Yes, the SCA teaches you melee weapons and archery, and I've won tournaments and I've lost tournaments in both, and to some extent, or at least matches in them. Throwing weapons, axes, knives, yeah, they have tournaments for that. Yes, we're the guys that get it together in medieval garb and fight each other. And it's not like Boffer or I forgot what the other one's called that people do. I don't fakely hit somebody in the SCA. When you're in the SCA, it's a sport. When you're in armor, it's a contact sport. People can get hurt and have been hurt. I know. Um, you're actually hitting the other opponent. There's safety precautions so you don't seriously injure anybody, but it can happen. It has happened. No one's died though. So, my skills with a sword, a bow, throwing weapons, glaive, axes, in combat, really good. What's good has it done me? It's helped me to teach kids what medieval times were like. However, there was another side to that that did teach me a lot. It taught me how to make my own soap at one point. I also worked for some Amish at some point in my life, and they taught me a lot. Okay? So staying off the grid and working with hand tools and next to nothing, yeah, I learned a lot about that. I'm going to tell you, skating in this type of life could be your best friend at this point. Because the Skadians not going to have to go to the store to get everything. They generally know how to make everything themselves. And a lot of it is on cheese and food and jewelry and all the essentials that you would need. They know how to do that because as a Skadian, we study that to teach people and for ourselves of how they did things in medieval times. So if it was medieval times, we would know how to do it. The fighting in that is mainly for fun and to bring in the crowds. The other part of it is pure education. So I have that as a skill set. And I'm still learning. I don't care how old you are. You're still going to be learning when it comes to this stuff because there's so much to remember. Thousands and thousands of years of people knowing this stuff. Yeah, there's going to be a lot to remember and a lot to learn. Well, so yeah, Skadians, really good source of information. They know how to do it. They've been doing it. If stuff actually goes worse than it is now, you might be wanting one as your best friend, I'm telling you. So yeah, I learned that, and I learned a lot of stuff from preppers. Okay? Preparation for any emergency situation. And I mean any emergency situation, not just this. Hurricane Katrina was one. Any kind of situation. This right now is it. If you're a prepper, most likely you're not worried about food or going to the store because you got food that lasts 10, 15 years. Because there's some food out there that does that. Okay, you've got a community at that point. That's why I'm trying to explain this to people. Also, I have building, construction, and a little bit of engineering skills. Okay? So yeah, I have that. I went to school for that. Okay? I went to school to learn that. I'm not Joe Bob's, little cousin that learned a couple of things and, you might want to hire because he learned a couple of things from his Uncle Joe, No, I'm the guy who actually went to college for that one. 2008, Bush did a little thing where if you were qualified, you could get free college. But it had to be within an area that you understood and were prepared for. Well, that was a contract for most of my life, so going into seasonal construction, heating, and plumbing, yeah, that kind of went into it. And the plumbing added in air conditioning units and things like that. So, yeah, and I have a little certificate. I could probably run and get it, but if any of you know me, you can ask and I can show you that anytime you want. Now, there's some of my qualifications. Alright. I also spent my life really poor. So I'm used to living like a poor person. Okay? I'm used to scraping by and getting by. I'm also the kind of guy that believes I can do anything because I have what's up here. Now, yeah, I'm not very good at articulating most of the words that I want to talk about. I'm not an articulated person. That's where a lot of my stuff gets messed up. So, my videos probably aren't that good, but my knowledge is. Okay? Not very good with words. I'm not very good at explaining things. I'm actually really bad at explaining things. But when I show people, if I show people, when I start to show people, if I can get my boat and I start doing little projects, you'll see I have an idea. Or at least I know what I'm talking about on certain things. When it comes to sailing, I have minimum experience sailing. You're all going to look at me and go, taking that big journey is kind of a risk, huh? Any of you know me or watch this channel. Life's a risk. Walking down my street is a risk. Anything I do could be considered a risk. And it only gets riskier and riskier this day and age. Honestly, I think I'm safer out on a boat in the middle of the ocean right now than walking down into Walmart. Think about it. On a boat, yeah, you have to deal with Mother Nature. I have more of a chance of catching COVID than having a shark bite my leg off. Out in the middle of the ocean. That's a fact. I have more chance of getting shot by somebody doing a drive-by, getting hit by a car, a hundred things. My heart giving out again. I have a really big chance of that one happening. So I'm not really worried about the ocean. It's actually probably safer. It's probably a safer place for me to be. I also have friends that are willing to teach me when I get out there. So I'm not so stupid that I'm going to just go out there and go, ooh, hey. No, I got some friends that are going to teach me. I have enough knowledge where I could probably take it out on the lake and at least motor it and that kind of thing. I don't really have the knowledge to take it out to the deep water. So staying coastal would be a good idea. But hey, if I'm going to risk it, I'm going to risk it. I might take another route. I was thinking about this. I might either take and follow Canada and stay on the Canada border till I get to Alaska, if the weather's warm enough. Short, I'm right near land the entire time. Okay? And I'm used to surviving up here. This is my area. Going out in the Canadian wilderness if I really had to, not a problem. I'm just worried about the ice and the weather up there. But yeah, if I stay close to the shore, go near Alaska, sail across, go over towards Russia, get close enough to land but don't actually land, sail down, hit Japan, visit my mother's grave, get to see Okinawa. I miss Okinawa. Anyways, you know, maybe some other places there. But then go down to the Philippines. Okay? People are probably looking at me going, what do you mean your mother's grave? Well, I may not look Japanese or Filipino, but the woman who raised me was half Filipino, half Japanese. Okay? My biological mother was not Japanese or Filipino, but the woman who actually raised me was. Okay? My mother didn't take care of me. Most of my life she was gone. Small little blip in my life she was back. I'll admit it, fine. That was only a few years. The people who actually took care of me, like Debbie, Jerome Gatson, my mother Mika, okay, Rigel, Eo, Carol Butler, guys, she runs a place called Oak Tree Sanctuary. She takes in wild animals. She taught me a lot about canning food and things like that. Although I never really paid attention to that one. The SCA, people in the SCA, Wolf Stand, Wolf Ear, they taught me a lot. Okay? And I think I could handle almost anything. Well, I won't count a few other things because knowing hand-to-hand combat and shooting a gun, well, anybody can pull a trigger. They may not be able to do it professionally, but they can pull a trigger. And yeah, if you haven't done it in a while, get back out and start doing it if you feel that's a necessary thing, because if you don't run at least a few hundred rounds a day, you're going to lose it. Other than that, be safe. Keep your social distancing. Okay? Bitcoin. You want financial stability? I don't care if it's a little amount. Put it into Bitcoin. Alternative cryptos. That's my opinion. If you don't want to do it, fine. I believe that the American dollar is losing its weight and it's going to be worthless. So it's going to be next to nothing for you. Put your money into crypto is my opinion. Not Zebra Coin. Nothing like that. Give you an example. This last couple of weeks, I put some money into crypto. A little bit's here, a little bit's there. Not a whole lot. Can't afford to. Even with it being as high as it is, I've seen my money go up pretty good. Just in the crypto space. I want it to crash and then put in a ton more, but it's still going up. So you will make profit. You're going to get certain people. I deal with them on a regular basis. Someone I know. It's so high, it's not worth it. So then don't put your money in. I've come to the point where there's like maybe one person I will push towards that. And then everybody else, I don't care. And honestly, I shouldn't have to push him to get a Cash App, to get a Coinbase app, to do any of that, to get crypto. Honestly, I shouldn't have to. But I should treat him like I treat everybody else. You win, you lose. The one thing I hate is when I tell somebody, look, it may not be exactly what you want, but go for it because it'll be worth it. And it turns out being worth it. Okay? Whining about how they didn't do something in the past, that they wish they listened and changed their mind. And then it comes back to it, and they do the same thing. That annoys me. There are a lot of people like that. People, get up and do something. Nothing's ever going to change if you sit in the same spot going, help me. I wish. Please, oh please, can you do this? No. No one's going to help you. Maybe you might have a few friends or family that will help you to the extent. If you get sick and you're not sure you have corona, you don't get to the hospital, you might think your job's secure, but it may not be. Get to the hospital, find out if you have it so you can go back to work. Or at least then you could put in a doctor's note. Because if nothing else, and this is my personal opinion, let's say I got sick today. Okay? My boss says, well, you're going to take a few days off, go to the hospital, get checked out. I don't know if you got corona or if it's just a regular flu. Okay, boss. they're not going to let me back in without it. So if I'm sitting at home, and let's say I'm getting money while I'm sitting on my tush, which I'm not, my boss doesn't do that, but let's say my boss does. I'm risking every time I don't go to the hospital to get checked out, losing my job. Not because he didn't say he wouldn't cover me, and I might think I know better, but I know employers, I know corporate, okay? And the economy's starting to open up a little. If you're not working, if you don't at least make the effort to go to the hospital to find out if you do have it or don't, they're not going to want you. At least if you have that doctor's note saying, I have it or I don't have it. At least that's something. It's something that's worrying me for personal reasons. But, like I said, there's a lot of things out there people can learn. Like I said, I talked the other day about making electricity. An alternator makes electricity. It's designed to. We're at the steam age still, with a few solar panels. Most electricity is still made by turning a turbine. A turbine, well, you remember back in school when the teacher took some copper wire and hooked it up to some electricity? Yeah, this is a similar idea. Except for if you take two magnets or a few magnets and you spin it around, it creates electricity. That's pretty much what they're doing. They just burn coal, create steam. Or in other ways, they do other things. But with Niagara Falls, the falls come down, the water hits the turbines rotate, creates the electrical current, powers the entire city. Wind generators do the same thing. I say wind generator because I was corrected by Roy Butler. Roy Butler owns a company. He also lived with Carol. I don't know if he's still alive. I think he is. They're getting up in age, okay? They're actually probably in their 70s or 80s now. So, yeah, they're probably seriously up in age. I would assume. Well, 20 years ago, they would have been like 50, 60. So, yeah, 70, 80s probably. Anyways. He was the leading head on solar and wind. He owned, probably still does, a company called Four Winds Renewable Energy. Okay? So what he did, he corrected me. He's like, they're not windmills. They're wind turbines or wind generators. They use the same basic idea as a windmill, but they have a generator there up at the top. Makes it a little different. A windmill turns and just uses it to crush some grain or something like that. So, yeah, this one's running a little long. But I won't keep you guys too long. Either way, get to know your mechanics, your contractors, your engineers, your Scadians, SCA people that do the medieval reenactments. Get to know your Amish. Get to know any of those people that actually have some skills. Get to know your prepper. They're the ones that are going to get you out of things, or at least show you the way. If you're not going to do it, it's up to you. Enjoy. Have a good day. Stay safe.